Hello.
Hi.
Todd, what have you seen out of Stearns over the last couple of days here?
He's quick. You know, he caught a lot of balls in college. He's quick. He's got very good hands, so he flashes in practice.
He's a lot taller than he looks, too.
Yeah, he does. I mean, you got to be pretty durable to make that many catches.
You guys were down a little bit. Wide receiver position at the end there. A lot of guys are getting a lot of reps. A few guys.
Everybody's getting reps right now, so, you know, after 2 days, it's been a little hot today, so they need to hydrate and come back tomorrow, but they did good today.
What do you like about Andre Anthony, and I assume he'd be in the running for that fourth outside linebacker for competition this training camp?
Yeah, he's in the running for it. Just getting him back healthy is one thing. He's got great size. He's got very good speed. He's got good length, and he can bend. Obviously, those are some of the traits as an outside backer, and as he gets in shape, you know, before he got hurt, he was a pretty good ball player, so hopefully we can get that player back and see where he's at.
From day 1 to 2, did you see the mistakes corrected? Did guys come back where you wanted them to?
There was a lot more improvement today. We actually look like a football team a little bit, so still a lot of things to correct on film, but I thought the guys grasped it pretty well today and they executed.
Who has stood out to you so far? I know you didn't get a chance to watch film from today's practice. You can only be in so many places at once, but was there anybody that stood out to you either today or yesterday?
I don't think they stood out, but they were better from a mental standpoint. I thought everybody was better from a mental standpoint. The film, as we go through the weekend, that'll tell who really stood out and who didn't.
How did this draft as a whole, your draft class, it seems like there was a premium on size. Obviously, you expect that at the line of scrimmage, but even the corner's a bigger corner. Was there a conscious effort, I guess, to find size where you could in this draft?
Well, those are prototype guys anyway. We always look for size, but we look for the whole package, size and speed. There are exceptions all the time. Just so happens that those guys fell at the right spot for us.
You didn't bring any safeties through the draft, but you did bring a few tryout guys and undrafted guys. I mean, have you seen anything that's kind of stuck out, over the last 2 days at that position?
Well, they can't really stick out in shorts and T-shirts, and not in the run game or the pass game, but mentally they can show up, and all of them made a big improvement from yesterday.
Specifically with Northern Turner, these guys played a lot of important football games. I mean, happy to have a guy like that that wasn't drafted still be able to come in.
Yeah, he's got very good intangibles. He's a hell of a special teams player. Came from a big program. We don't rate him big or small, but he played a lot of meaningful games. So we look forward to him in training camp to see what else he does.
Another guy on that mold, Colin McMichael, you guys, the Bucs gave a sizable signing bonus to. What have you seen out of him? What does he bring to this team?
He's sharp. You know, he's sharp. He brings another element to compete this summer. We got a lot of guys that's competing this summer. He's one of them. Obviously, we think highly of him because we brought him in here and gave him a big signing bonus, but he's still got to earn his spot on the team.
This team's had success with undrafted rookies, finding one here or there. I mean, we've got not rookies necessarily like Williams, Brady, or Adam Humphries through the years. So, are there guys you think that have a chance to be invited to camp from this group?
Hopefully, you know, we got one more day. There's some guys flashing differently every day. Once we sit down and talk to the coaches and evaluate everybody, we'll narrow it down.
One of those tryout guys is Declan Brooks. What have you seen out of him in the 2 days he's been here?
Well, he's very smart, obviously. He comes from a good family background. He's quick. He understands the game very well. So just interested to see him more.
Do you see a couple of the wide receivers here as a potential candidate to compete for the punt kick returner?
It's possible. Always looking for returners. So we got a couple of them that can do it.
I didn't have very many veteran tryout guys here. Laird is a guy who played 12 years in Miami, had a bunch of catches. I think you only have 5 backs on the roster right now. Is he a possibility something to stick around?
It's possible, you know, depending on the numbers game, depending on who's hurt, who we can bring in, who we can't bring in. It's all going to come down to numbers, and we'll sort that out afterwards.
What have you seen out of Jake Camarda's punting? I know it's not the flashiest position out here, but I would have been impressed by with him.
No, so far he's putting it where it needs to be. Obviously, he can directional punt, which has only been a day, but you've seen quite a few punts from him. He's played in a lot of meaningful football games as well, so we just look forward to that once he gets in pads and everything goes full speed.
What have you seen out of McCollum? He was saying that the technique that he's being asked to play more of here, like more off versus more man than he played in college, that's been an adjustment. But just what have you seen out of him in his transition?
Well, he's very smart. He's a heady ball player. He'll be asked to play what he can play once we get going, but out of pads and everything right now to cut down on the collisions, we're working on a lot of off technique.
How difficult is it to really gauge, especially the offensive defensive line without pads, and how, when you guys are going about that process of evaluating some of these guys, trial guys, undrafted guys, what do you look for there? Because they can't hit each other, they can't get after each other.
You want to see some athleticism in the stunt game. You want to see some quickness offensively. You want to see if they can pick up pressures and how well they pass off blocks and whether they got their form down and they got the right technique going forward from there. And then you want to see who's consistent. So obviously with 3 days of practice, there'll be some consistency here and there, and we'll look at it from that standpoint and see.
You'll start OTAs this coming week. Obviously, it's a voluntary thing at this point, but how pleased are you by what you think will be the level of attendance and commitment from players?
Well, I've been very pleased thus far in phase 2, and I'm sure OTAs will be more of the same. Again, it is voluntary, and people don't have to come, but the guys have been pretty diligent about coming in.
Are you expecting Tom Brady to stay away from OTAs? I know he's kind of done that in the past, whether it be in New England and obviously the last couple of years here. But Clyde was saying that the plan is to get Kyle Trask a lot of the reps. And would that happen with Tom obviously not being here?
Well, if Tom's here, he's going to get his reps, but Kyle will get some reps as well. He'll get some reps in the summer, and we'll get to see what he can do this preseason. He'll get all his reps then. So it's voluntary again, whether Tom's here or not. We understand we got to coach the guys that are in here. When he's here, that's great for us.
Who are you most eager to see in OTAs when you guys start that up on Tuesday? It could be one player, it could be a whole position group, a group of players.
I want to see Luke Godecki. You know, we drafted him. It'll be a good battle at that guard spot all summer. So between Stenny, Luke, and Hainsey, you know, I think that'll be one of the better positions to watch.
You didn't mention Nick Leverett. Is his strength?
He's in there as well.
But is his strength as a player? I know you're not knocking him, but like, I mean, with a guy like that, it's so rare that he can literally back up any position along that offensive line. Like, that's invaluable on game day. And is there like a kind of I guess a temptation to keep him in a backup spot because he could fill a void anywhere on that spot, as opposed to kind of locking him into a starting role if he were to earn it?
Well, anytime you get to the bottom of the roster when it comes to being the next to last or last guy at a position, you want to have position flex. So obviously he has a big positive right there, so we'll see going forward how it shakes out.
One of the guys you brought in was Fred Johnson from the Bengals to give you some depth at offensive tackle. What have you seen from him on the film that you like?
Well, he's smart. You know, he's consistent. Again, he can play both sides. He's got a lot of size and a lot of length.
Russell Gage is the guy that you guys brought in this offseason too, and I know he did a lot of damage against the defense when the Bucs played the Falcons. But what can he add to this offense that maybe we haven't seen previously?
I think he's a guy that can play 3 positions. He can play outside or he can play inside. He's tough. He's scrappy. He's quick, he's got very good hands, and he's a competitor. I think he fits right in with everything we're trying to do on offense, and he fits in well with the other receivers. So I'm excited to have him on our team rather than playing against them.
Staying on that trend of guys, you brought in Logan Ryan, obviously Keanu Neal. They've been in the building here for phase 2. What have you seen from them? How often has Logan Ryan been in your office? And where does they fit? Is that more of a strong safety role for sure for Neal, or what do you plan on using?
Well, they're both professional, number one. Obviously, they're very smart guys. They've been in mostly every day. Logan hasn't been in the office too much, but he has been in the office. He understands the game. He wants to know more of it and how we call things and how things work. I think that's very smart by him. Keanu will line up at strong safety. That's where he's going to start out at camp. That's where we're going to keep him at.
Anthony Nelson was a player that really came on for you in terms of production towards the end of the year when Shaq was out with his knee injury. What did you see specifically about his development that you liked, that you want to see carry over into this year, which is his contract year?
Well, he worked on his athleticism some more. He worked on his lateral quickness. His hand placement has been great. He's always been strong. He knows how to play the game. He's a very heady football player. He's stronger than he looks. He looks lanky, but he's a very strong player. He understands the game well, and you know, he's not flashy like the rest of them, but every time you look up, he finished with 6, 7 sacks. You know, the guy does a great job. Quiet, he's like quiet storm. You know, he won't say much, but when you put him out there on the field, he's going to be tough.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you.